Once upon a time, in a world teeming with life and untold stories, deep in the heart of a lush green jungle, where sunlight barely touched the forest floor and the air hummed with the sounds of 1,000 creatures, there lived a lion, the king of the forest, or so he believed. He ruled with a mighty roar and an iron paw, expecting all to bow before his superior strength. Now, this lion was mighty, strong, a true apex predator in his prime, and let's just say a bit too proud for his own good. His ego was as inflated as his muscles were defined, and he often strutted about as if the entire jungle was his personal stage. Every animal in the jungle was scared of him, trembling at the mere sound of his approach, except for one clever little rabbit who possessed a wit as sharp as the lion's claws, but used it for far more noble purposes. One sunny day, the lion was feeling extra hungry, his stomach rumbling like a distant thunderstorm. He roared, a sound that echoed through the trees, shaking the trees and making all the animals shiver in their burrows and nests. The very ground seemed to tremble beneath his mighty voice. "I'm hungry. Bring me a meal, or face my wrath," he demanded, his voice dripping with impatience. The animals huddled together, worried, their eyes wide with fear as they contemplated who would be the unlucky one to appease the lion's hunger. But the rabbit hopped forward, a tiny beacon of courage in a sea of fear, his nose twitching with an idea, a plan forming in his quick-thinking mind. He knew he had to act fast to save his fellow creatures. "Great lion!" the rabbit squeaked, his voice surprisingly steady despite the fear gnawing at his insides. "Why settle for just me, a mere morsel, when there's an even bigger, tastier lion living nearby? A lion so grand you'd be feasting for days." The lion's ears perked up, his eyes gleaming with a mixture of greed and suspicion. "Another lion? In my jungle? How dare he? Take me to him now. I'll teach him who the real king is." So off they went, the unlikely pair embarking on a journey fueled by the lion's arrogance and the rabbit's cunning. The rabbit led the lion through bushes and vines, deeper and deeper into the jungle's embrace, making sure they took the longest, twistiest route possible. All the while, the lion's impatience grew with each passing moment. Soon, they came to a sparkling blue river, its surface shimmering under the dappled sunlight. The rabbit pointed and whispered, his voice barely audible above the gentle murmur of the water. "He lives down there, in the depths of the river. But be careful, he's just as strong and fierce as you, perhaps even more so." The lion crept up to the riverbank, his muscles tense, and peered into the water, his eyes narrowed, searching for any sign of his supposed rival. And there he saw it, a sight that made his blood boil, the biggest, boldest lion he'd ever set eyes on, a lion with a mane even more magnificent than his own. Of course, it was just his own reflection, distorted and amplified by the water's surface. But the lion, blinded by his own arrogance, didn't know that. He saw only a challenger to his throne. With a thunderous roar, a challenge to the imposter, the lion bared his teeth and shouted, his voice echoing across the water, "How dare you live in my jungle? This is my territory!" But the other lion roared back, just as loud, mirroring his every move and fueling his rage. The lion's mane bristled, his body trembling with fury. He leapt forward and splashed! A mighty leap of anger and misplaced pride. He plunged straight into the river, ready to confront his rival, chasing his own reflection, a phantom enemy born of his own vanity. The water churned and bubbled, a chaotic swirl of misplaced aggression. The rabbit peered over the edge, grinning cheekily, his eyes twinkling with amusement, as the lion scrambled to find his rival, the one who dared to challenge his reign, only to discover there was no other lion at all, just his own foolish face staring back at him. Soaked and embarrassed, his pride thoroughly deflated, the lion dragged himself out of the water, a sorry sight indeed, while the rabbit bounced home, safe and sound, his mission accomplished. And that, my friends, in this vibrant tapestry of the jungle, is how one small, clever rabbit, armed with nothing but his wits, outsmarted the king of the jungle, a feat that would be whispered among the trees for generations to come, with nothing but courage and quick thinking, a true testament to the power of intelligence over brute force. Remember, it's not always about being the biggest or the strongest. True strength lies not in physical prowess, but in the power of the mind. Sometimes all it takes is a bit of wit, a dash of courage, and a whole lot of clever thinking to overcome even the most daunting challenges. Thanks for listening, and remember, the jungle is full of surprises, and wisdom can be found in the most unexpected places. Never underestimate the power of a little clever thinking. It might just save the day.